see that in many people's eyes?
I do. I see it in a lot of people. I think there's something that God put in all of us, and that's to overcome, to move forward.
Jesus Christ, you can trust him. He'll never fail.
We've seen midgets grow. We've seen arms and legs that stop growing. Mandada basata. I don't make this stuff up.
So are we going to be called away to meet the Lord? But it's not going to be 300 years. We live in right at the coming of Jesus Christ.
You're just a 10-foot-tall crybaby.
I'm crying.
It's not so bad. I mean, no, Christians aren't being killed.
No, not yet.
What the Bible says, Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with the woman, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And that, my friend, is the cure for AIDS.
The notion that atheists are somehow the intelligentsia among us and so forth, I think this is just completely false.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Age of Reason podcast. What's up, Alex?
Good times over here, man. Just got back from another quick trip to Oregon. So got to test that legal marijuana again. So happy man over here for the next couple days, hopefully.
I was happy until a second ago. I hit play, and typically I delete my tracks when we record this, and after I put them on my hard drive and all that, I delete them. And I didn't delete last week's, and apparently I yell, "Hey everybody, welcome to the Age of Reason," and then that just went through my ears. Jesus, that hurt.
Yeah, you said we're on, and I thought you were doing a new intro. The next thing I hear is, "Oh fuck."
I think I said, "Oh fuck, ow." Yeah,
I was wondering how you were gonna follow that one.
Yeah, well, and you probably had no idea what was going on with me either. So I imagine the imagery was I don't even know the word.
Let's
Whatever.
just say interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. That's the fucking word. So, so you went to Oregon. That's not surprising at all. What is surprising is that why aren't you coming here? Why aren't you coming over to Colorado to visit me?
Well, this was a business trip. I had my wife's family. We had to drop off. The crappy part is I didn't know this. I guess in it's smaller cities, but numerous small cities have actually banned the dispensaries. So even though it's legal to possess and smoke in the cities, they don't have the dispensaries. So I drove after work, without sleeping. I drove 6 hours to get to the place where they were at, dropped them off, and to find there was not a dispensary for another hour and a half. So, and they were about to close. So we ended up staying the night over there, waking up and getting pop for breakfast. So that was nice. Edibles are now legal over there, so we brought a couple of those home. Try those out later, I guess.
You, sir, are a madman. I'll tell you, I haven't seen one person smoking weed. I haven't smelt it. I haven't actually even seen it at all, and I've been here a month. So it's kind of crazy because like that's my account of it. I haven't seen it, but I was watching the local news the other night, and the homeless epidemic that's going on. Well, I guess they're having a homeless epidemic, especially in Denver, and this is mainly because of marijuana. Marijuana is attracting not only more homeless, but also more people. But like I said, I haven't seen marijuana since I've been here, or smelt it, or suspected nothing.
I'm not sure if you know the details, but they were just coming here because it was legal.
Yes.
What's kind of the rationale? But they still broke. Jokes withstanding, but how do they figure they're going to get marijuana, or what? What's the?
Well, I don't know much about homeless finances. I've never seen their Quicken, I guess, but drugs and alcohol with homeless, unfortunately. There's got to be there's truth to every stereotype, no matter how small or fraction of a fraction that it is. I'm sure that goes on. So and think about it. If you're somebody that's got drugs and you need dealers, and the last few times, the few times I've seen a homeless person get busted for one reason or another, I mean, they find a way to get drugs.
I guess, I mean,
I shouldn't say they. I'm just.
Yeah, in
I'm not
general.
trying to be a blank. I'm
No,
not even
yeah, I
speaking
know.
in general. I'm speaking in my few experiences.
I guess my comments would just be like, buying it legally. It's much cheaper to find somebody on the streets, but I guess, either cops can't bust you for it. And
Right.
over here, I guess that's just one more reason for them to take you to jail or, to take away what you have. So I guess that does make sense.
Yeah. Well, we should probably start off with the unfortunate news. So maybe we can try to end on a positive note. But as everybody knows, we had a really terrible event take place in Dallas. And so far, it was a lone gunman who was on top of on a rooftop of a parking garage right there in downtown Dallas. And I believe the last toll that I heard is 5 police officers are dead and another 6 or 7, I've heard both reports, I haven't been able to confirm, wounded, and 3 of those were in critical condition. I have not gotten an update on what's going on further than that, but we have 11 or 12 officers that were either wounded or are dead. It was a black person. I'm not going to say his name, but it was a black guy. Apparently he was shouting when officers were closing in on him and they were trying to negotiate. He was shouting that he wanted to kill white people and white cops. I watched Fox News for 4 hours that night because, like I said, whenever there's a huge incident like that, I turn to my enemy and see what they have to say. And they did a perfect job. I even saw a tweet from Michael Moore that said Fox News was doing the best coverage. They made it a huge point over and over again to point out that this protest had been going on all day. It was peaceful, no issues. The cops were escorting them. The cops were taking pictures with them. Like, they were taking pictures of them. They were interacting. There was joking. Everything was fine. And then this happened. And they made a huge point of separating whoever at the time, because he was completely unknown, whoever it was that caused that, or whoever they were that caused the shooting or chose to do that, had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. But what I will say is that none of the usual dipshits were on that night. It wasn't O'Reilly. It wasn't Hannity. It wasn't Gretchen. It wasn't any of those guys. It was people that I didn't even know.
I think it was a Sunday night, right? So
Yeah.
all those guys are probably off.
Yeah, but you would think for something like that they would get called in. I would think you'd call in your O'Reilly or your Megyn Kelly or somebody to cover something that big, but they didn't. And the next morning, everything changed. Black Lives Matter is now the leadership of Black Lives Matter are fanatical religious people that want to bring on the end of the world. And it's funny how the rhetoric changed by morning.
Yeah, I mean, the whole incident is, it's extremely, sad. Our thoughts go out, obviously to the families of the police. They're innocent. And, while we definitely, think justice needs to be served for the police killings that have happened, especially to African Americans, but in general, obviously we would never advocate for the open killing of, innocent police officers. That's just, you're never going to get to nonviolence with violence. So the fact that, this happened only hurts the whole situation. It doesn't do anything to help. And, it just makes it, now it's all fucked up, to be honest. Now, this creates a situation of tension. It takes it to the next level. At the same time, it's not completely surprising, and not that I obviously would advocate for it or anything like that, but you would imagine after so much of what we've been seeing. And this happened over, you know, you mentioned there was a horrible tragedy. There was also a couple, you know, before that, and I mean, really, it happened every day, but in one way or the other. But there was, two black men that were killed by the police the night before. Um, One of them, there's arguments about, this or that. He was a felon, which, obviously that stuff is no reason for somebody to be executed.
Right.
But the second one was a much more black and white, no pun intended, but
Or black and blue for a pun, but
he was legally carrying. He told the officer he was legally carrying. Went to go for his ID, I guess, and he got shot 4 times with his girlfriend and her daughter in the car.
Yeah, I mean, it's and watching that video, it was strange how calm his girlfriend or fiance, I don't think it was his wife, but I think it was one of those two. I could be wrong, but the driver of the car, the just how calm she was. Like, I think the video was like 9.5 minutes that I saw, and she didn't start to break down until like minute 7. But she's laying there, and he's dying right next to her, and she's obeying the officer's commands, and she's extremely calm. It was very odd to watch something like that happen and not have the person that's filming or recording this freaking the fuck out. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't do that. I couldn't stay that calm.
I only watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the entire thing. The one thing that I did notice, though, is she thought he was shot in the arm.
Right.
So maybe she didn't think it was as serious as it was. But regardless, yeah, it's definitely a horrible situation to be in. So back to it, I guess, it's not right. It's not. It's never gonna get any, a positive conversation going or anything productive this way. But you could see something like this, I guess, building up, and it's unfortunate that it was and that it happened.
Well, and you can see, I mean, again, it's not. I mean, you can see this happening. It's not that it's an excuse. It's just, it's kind of like when Trump supporters were attacked in, I think, San Jose last time. There, somewhere in Northern California, a few episodes back. I think last month sometime, a bunch of Trump. People were attacked by Hispanics, and it's like, I don't support what they did. I understand why this is happening. However, I thought I did, because apparently this guy, and who knows what we're being fed. I have no idea, but apparently this guy was not mentally stable. But there's a few thoughts that I have on this that aren't so great. I mean, the first one is that it goes to what you were saying in the very beginning. We're not saying that justice needs to be on one side. We're justice for all. That's what we're supposed to have in this country. Justice for everybody, regardless of your race and what you do for a living. But what I'm getting overly pissed about is Blue Lives Matter. Everybody knows Blue Lives Matter. Everybody knows that. And the people that don't, that's what blue lives are for. Police are for people that don't know. They're around because people don't understand what civility is and how to behave. That's why they're there. If there were people out there, if everybody understood how much life mattered, we would not need police. They wouldn't even have a job. But what I'm sick of people doing is black people and police. I know both. I know people on both sides of that spectrum. And what I'm getting really tired of fucking hearing is they don't know what it's like to be me. Now, it's fair. I can say I am not law enforcement. As much as I've worked with them over the years, I've never been a police officer. But I've also never been a black person. I don't know what that's like. Now, that doesn't mean I don't know what having it rough is. That just means I don't know what having it rough is while being black. I mean, no matter how rough my life gets, I do not fear for my life when a cop pulls me over. I don't fear for my life when I see a police officer. I don't know what that's like. And I don't know what it's like to walk around with a badge and a gun and have to, what that does to your mentality, the things that you have to see, you know, having to deal with child molesters and that sort of thing. I mean, that's got to do something to you. And the fact that these people live with it every day and continue going out and trying to make our world and communities a better place, they deserve every bit of gratitude that we can possibly give them. But what everybody ends up doing is everybody starts choosing sides because we got pride to be police officers and we have pride to be black. It's a fucking problem, because when you say that, when you take this stance, it forces everybody to choose who they think has it worse. And can we stop battling over who deserves more sympathy? Stop it. That's really what this is. It's a battle for sympathy, and what we need is empathy. I wrote a deal and put it on the page with the hashtag empathy matters, because before our lives, we wouldn't have to tell everybody that Black Lives Matter if everybody had empathy, and if empathy mattered to everybody, and if everybody didn't have to basically pull their own fucking teeth in order to take a minute to go, yeah, you know what? I've never walked in your fucking shoes. That doesn't mean that my shoes don't suck at times. But this whole, you've never had it worse than me. You don't know what it's like being me. I don't care if it's coming from police officers, black people, white people, poor people. It doesn't fucking matter. That shit needs to stop. Those are blanket statements. They're made with zero fucking evidence, because every one of us are an individual. That's what's getting on my nerves. But what you brought up a race war months ago when we were talking about Donald Trump supporters. So let me read what Donald Trump said. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Donald Trump said, last night's horrific execution-style shootings of 12 Dallas law enforcement officers, 5 of whom were killed and 7 wounded, is an attack on our country. It is a coordinated, premeditated assault on men and women who keep us safe. We must restore law and order. We must restore the confidence of our people and in our safe and that are to be safe and secure in our homes and our streets. The senseless, tragic deaths of 2 people in Louisiana and Minnesota reminds us how much needs to be done. This is wow. This morning, I offer my thoughts and prayers for all of the victims and their families, and we pray for our brave police officers and first responders who risk their lives to protect us every single day. Our nation has become too divided. Too many Americans feel like they've lost hope. Crime is harming too many citizens. Racial tensions have gotten worse, not better. This ain't the American dream that we all want for our children. This is time, perhaps more than ever, for strong leadership, love, and compassion. We will pull through these tragedies. The senseless, again, this is from Donald Trump. The senseless, tragic deaths of 2 people in Louisiana and Minnesota reminds us of how much that needs to be done. That's Trump.
Or somebody much more articulate than Trump speaking on his behalf.
Regardless. Now, I'm not saying there's goodness in Trump. That's not my point. Actually, the only reason I brought that up is because you brought up a race war a while back, and you said these fucking idiots will do... You said something to the extent of these idiots will do anything to get their precious race war. Well, Trump put that out, and his supporters got pissed. And there's talks of arming up and who's got ammunition and who's got guns, because we're tired of people who just sit around and talk and don't take any action. We're ready to take action, that sort of thing. Now, do I think anything's going to happen? I'm not sure, but I can just say that this isn't a good thing. And we know America doesn't learn their lesson the first time. We probably need this to happen 2 or 3 more times where people start thinking of something. But before I get into my crazy shit, what do you got?
I guess a couple things on this still. oh, this one's related, but earlier in the day, I think in Washington, want to say Seattle, there was a Trump supporter pointed a loaded gun at Black Lives Matter protesters. He got arrested for that. So there is pieces of that coming through. And I guess the second part, which I spoke with you a little bit about over this past couple days, is the way that this standoff came to an end was by a bomb. It's supposed to be the bomb squad's thing that goes in there and puts out the bombs, but they basically had an explosive on it. They computer, I guess, drove it into his area and exploded it, and killed him that way. And I think it's interesting, and I think it's unprecedented from what I understand, and I think it opens the doors for potentially some scary shit. And
right,
that's just my opinion on it. I think the way that it went down is pretty crazy. I mean,
right.
Obviously this man killed 5 police officers. He shot 12 police officers. So his regard for police life is none, right? And he had the intention of killing police. I think with that being said, it's that's an interesting call for a police chief or for somebody to make. Is no, right now, even though he's barricaded in and has nowhere to go, we're gonna go in there and, I guess basically it's a version of a drone. I mean, it's not you can't compare it to a drone strike,
right?
But I guess you could say they're in the same kind of league. I mean, this is using a mechanized weapon to kill somebody.
Well, the first thing I thought, I play a lot of Grand Theft Auto, and that's what this whole thing reminded me of. And looking at the streets and the panic and all the shit going on, I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is not even. It wasn't a 9/11 moment. I don't want to compare this to that, but it was an unreal thing. I couldn't believe what I was watching, and when I heard that, now I do not want to critique what law enforcement did. I don't know what they know. I don't have the experience they have. I don't, we can critique all day on police brutality. That's all good. But when it comes to, for me, when it comes to on the spot life or death decision making, why? Okay, so this guy's barricaded in the garage, and the police chief said that the reason they did this was because there was no way to enter that place where he was barricaded without potentially losing or wounding or losing more officers. Okay. Understood. Why they didn't wait him out, tear gas him, move a fucking heater up against the wall and make it 150 degrees, 120 degrees in there and make him uncomfortable and all that shit like they do during every other hostage negotiation. I don't know, but because I don't know, I can't say anything. So my overall opinion of this is that if it was used correctly, if this was justified, and we can't answer that because I don't think we're ever going to have all the information, but if this was actually justified and this was a good idea, the only problem with this is, when is it going to be a good idea again?
And that's
once you do it once.
That's my whole thing.
That's my worry. It's not necessarily about whether or not it was a good idea this time.
Exactly.
But once you do it one time and you break tradition and you set a precedent, it's bound to happen again.
I mean, kind of going by just the things you said right there, where it's a weird situation. There's kind of no other alternative. I mean,
I don't know
you
if
could
there's no other alternative. I mean, really.
no. Yeah, exactly. Not
Yeah.
not that there's no other alternative, but just some of the things that you said to kind of justify it. You could use the same things, like I said, to justify this madman's on this crazy island, with all these guns. Our best thing, right off the coast or whatever like that. Our best thing is just to, send some drones over there and just take him out. It just the whole thing. I mean, I don't want to sound conspiracy theorist because I'm, far from that, but I just think the precedent that it sends when we start killing people, American citizens, with robots, it's weird to me.
Yeah.
If in a shootout, I mean, if and obviously this puts the police lives in danger. So I guess I understand kind of the mentality, but if in an exchange of gunfire he would have got killed,
Eventually.
I wouldn't have thought twice about it. I guess like that's what happens. He was shooting at the cops. They were able to get him.
And they did say that their negotiator worked hard on this guy, and there was no cracking. There was no the negotiator.
Yeah, but
that's fine. Like, I'm sure that happens. Like the negotiator at some point, like when we say we argue with Christians all the fucking time, you got to know when to quit. And I'm sure a negotiator is much better at that shit than you and I are. So again, I don't question. I'm trying not to question any of this. It's more along the lines of, you guys threw a Hail Mary. It worked. But when is this going to be justified again? That's my problem. I don't know.
I agree with you mostly, but I think it should kind of be called out just because, like I said, I can't think of a case where this happened before.
They always sweat them out. It wasn't a hostage situation that we know of. Why didn't they sweat them out? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, but we can move on. So what do you got?
So I mean, with this, this is that not for the faint of thought shit. Good guys with guns. 11 or 12 of them. Donald Trump says 12. I think everywhere else I heard 11, but 11 or 12 good guys just got killed with guns. And good guys with guns didn't stop the bad guy with the gun. As we just pointed out, a fucking RC car with dynamite strapped to it stopped the bad guy with the gun. My thought of this is police officers, we just lost fucking lives of our law enforcement from somebody who had a fucking rifle and was able to snipe these guys from a parking garage. Just when it comes to guns, I don't fucking get it. I've talked to police officers that are so pro-gun, so pro-NRA. I don't get, how does this make them safer? Texas is an open carry state. They're one of the states that have loose fucking gun laws. Where were all these good guys with guns to help the other good guys with guns that got gunned the fuck down? Where were they? Not to mention, you had a good guy with a gun, a black guy, walking in the crowd, who was the first fucking suspect. Because right before anybody does some sort of terrorist act, they're going to walk around right in plain fucking daylight with a rifle strapped over their goddamn shoulder. That's smart.
I saw that story. The poor guy's gotten thousands of death threats.
Fucking ridiculous.
Luckily, he was smart enough. He went to a police station and turned his gun in.
But he wasn't smart enough. How smart was it to carry your fucking gun like that? He was smart enough to take care of what happened and clear his name. But what he did to get his name posted in the first place, not that posting his name wasn't a dumb, premature thing to do on the media and law enforcement side, but
No, no, no. I disagree. In an open carry, in an open carry state, what is wrong with open carry? If okay, this is
You're
I
going
saw
to a powder keg Black Lives Matter fucking protest. As peaceful as it was,
no, he
as
wasn't
you've
at the
seen-
protest. He wasn't at the protest. I think he was just in the city around. I think.
No, he was with the protest. That's where the picture came from. He was marching with the gun around his shoulder. And you've been to protests and rallies. Are those smart places to walk around with a fucking gun strapped around your shoulder?
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't see that part.
He
an article.
handled it well. He handled the situation well, but he should have never been in that situation to begin with. That was a dumb thing to do, in my opinion. But I'm against carrying guns in fucking public, whether concealed or open. I mean, that's just me. But, I don't know. Something needs to be done with fucking guns in this goddamn country. And the only thing that I can hope, the only silver lining I can hope of out of fucking Dallas is that maybe some more law enforcement people start pulling together and going against this shit and starting to ask for more fucking gun control. Because this is stupid. And for the first time, on a major scale, they're victims. Hopefully, there is some silver lining to this. Hopefully, we move forward. Moving on, sort of, to a separate part of the subject. I don't know if you saw this, but Snoop Dogg held a rally with the game in LAPD to reintroduce the black community to the Los Angeles Police Department. That fucking great. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, it's crazy that we're taking moral lessons from Snoop Dogg
Who
and
used
the game.
he to fame was 187 on a motherfucking cop. Yeah.
I mean, the truth, and DL Hughley, who's been outspoken kind of on this topic for a while. He broke down the other day talking about his son, or it's crazy, for people that somebody like DL Hughley or Snoop Dogg who've made it, out of the hood. They don't live the life that they used to live, and their kids certainly have much better lives than they ever had. But they still have to worry about them getting shot by a police officer. And a member of Congress actually had a gun pulled on his son, had a gun pulled on him a couple months ago or something. So it's I mean, it's a real issue, and I give credit to Snoop and the game for that.
Yeah.
But it's about time. That's the kind of stuff we need.
And exactly. And this is the largest point that I can make about this is caring about dead, unarmed black people shot by police, and caring about police that are gunned down in the back from an elevated position from a surprised attack does not mean that you don't care about the other. That is the main fucking problem. Saying that Black Lives Matter does not mean other lives fucking don't. And that was the rhetoric the following morning that Fox News started to push. Well, one of them said, obviously blue lives don't matter because they aren't all black lives. They're missing the fucking point. That's the overall takeaway that everybody should have from this. So when you see people posting police brutality videos, or when you see police videos of police officers getting posted on Facebook that shows police officers being killed or wounded and what they go through, there is no fucking argument there, and there shouldn't be. But what we should not be arguing about is who the fuck has it worse, because the people that actually do the arguing for most of the time are neither black nor a police officer. So shut the fuck up. All you can do is say that you understand that you don't understand. That's it. I understand that my life would be more difficult if I was black. I understand my life would be in more danger if I was a police officer. How and how much I understand that? I don't fucking know. But I understand that I don't get it. That's it. Stop letting them fucking divide us. That's all this shit is. I have not heard from one law enforcement officer or from one fucking Well, I've heard from black people, but I haven't heard from one law enforcement officer, but I've heard from people that aren't black nor law enforcement shedding their fucking opinion on who's got it worse in this country, who's got it worse in this world. You both do. I'm white, I'm male, I'm straight. Sorry. I can't relate to you. Not on that level. Anyway, moving on. Do you have anything else on this?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully we learn something, but we'll see.
We as a country will not. We need 2 or 3 more of these fucking things to happen. It's just the way it is. It's the way it goes. I mean, I can't remember if it was with you or when Nick subbed in a few weeks ago when we were talking about gun control, and I said I heard somebody make the point that dead children didn't make America want to look at gun control laws. So why would they do it over a gay nightclub in Florida? I think that might have been with Nick. But yeah, that's the sad part is 2 or 3 more killings between police officers and blacks are going to need to happen until America wakes the fuck up, hopefully. And that's saying that we've actually that's giving us a generous learning curve compared to what we have with guns overall. It's a sad fucking truth. But other than that, I mean, not a whole lot has gone on this week. I don't really have anything other than the other group of people that are pissing me off, which are still Bernie Sanders supporters. Don't look at me like that. Yeah. Well, they reopened the investigation on Hillary, so maybe we'll both get what we want. But
okay, hold on. But you even sent me a text message, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at what the FBI said about Hillary Clinton, mm-hmm. he basically said right, and obviously this is paraphrasing, but this is not stretching the truth too far. Basically, if it was anybody else, mm-hmm. they would have got indicted.
Yep.
And not just that, she was almost not he said she's
stupid.
Not sophisticated enough to understand.
She was grossly careless, I think were his words. Trey Gowdy. I think his first name's Trey. The guy with the white hair that looks like a grown-up Malfoy from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He ripped the shit out of Comey from the FBI.
Yeah, but the Trey Gowdy guy is a jackass.
He's a jackass, but I sat there and agreed with every word he fucking said, with every point that he made. And that's the goddamn issue. When I'm agreeing with Republicans, people that I can't stand otherwise, that's a big problem.
In this case, right? So whether or not, how you feel about voting for Hillary, we won't necessarily get into that right now.
No, fuck it. We got time. We might as well. We got 20 minutes left we got to kill, and I don't have any more fucking stories, Alex, so let's have it out.
I got one more thing we'll put at the end, but let's okay. So regardless, right? Hearing how that guy basically let Hillary off the hook. I mean, that doesn't make it worse for you?
Oh, of course it does. Of course everything that's wrong with Hillary makes having to vote for Hillary, because that's the reality that I'm presenting myself that I'm going to have to do, barring any crazy fucking developments at the convention or before then. That's the reality that I've presented myself. And here's why. Jill Stein will not be the next president. Gary Johnson will not be the next president. There are 2 people. Bernie Sanders will not be the next president unless something really fucking crazy happens. And in which case, we don't have to have this discussion anymore, because we got what we wanted. But speaking of getting what we want, there is not one fucking thing that you can say negative about Hillary Clinton that you can't say about Donald Trump. But there are major negative issues with Donald Trump that you cannot say about Hillary Clinton. As I brought up before, Supreme Court. She will not set us back 70 years in social fucking progress.
Okay, I know.
Wave it off because you're not gay and you don't care. Or a woman for your right to choose.
No, obviously,
Asshole.
I have gay friends, and I have a, a stake in a woman's right to choose. However,
Wait, what? Moving on. Whatever. Go
okay,
ahead.
so it's so when we cast our vote for Bernie, I know for myself, and I'm sure for you too, right? It was like, oh wow, this it was a different kind of vote, right? It
Yeah.
was like, I feel like I voted a
Mhm.
clean vote, right? Like I don't feel dirty, like I voted for this, even though I know they're doing this and this and
Yes,
not
sir.
doing
Keep
that.
it up. Keep walking in that direction. Let's go.
So I'm just no. So I'm saying, right? So you put that one vote,
Mhm.
and you feel like, this is good. So then now 5 months later, it's
Mhm.
like, okay, back to the old shit. Back
Oh
to
no no
voting
no no
to
no
the
no 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 no.
lesser of two
Do
evils.
not. No.
This is not a
That-
lesser of two evils.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's
No,
this,
no, but don't say that I'm like, fuck it, whatever. Don't make it sound like I didn't give a fuck. Like this doesn't kill me that I have to do that. But the thing is I'm willing to feel dirty to save our country. I'm willing to feel dirty instead of flipping the game board like a 5-year-old and burning the house down, because you know who wants to do that shit? Trump supporters. Trump supporters want to burn the fucking country down because they don't feel like they get what they want. So when Bernie Sanders supporters are saying, oh, fuck that, we're going to go vote for Jill fucking Stein. Who the fuck is Jill Stein? Nobody
Well,
knows who the
maybe-
fuck Jill Stein is. She's
Let
not
me-
going to win. And hold on, when you fucking say, wait a minute, well, Jill Stein's going to go up in percentages because look what Bernie did. Do not say that Bernie is as great as he is and they make it sound like some fucking unknown person 2 or 3 months before the fucking election starts can do the same thing that Bernie did in less time. That's
Okay.
ignorant.
okay. Couple points. Okay, number one.
Oh, I'm getting it out. Let's go.
Number one, right? Jill Stein and the Green Party have been around for a long time. When you look at her, she's a medical doctor, right? She's not a
Mhm.
politician. It's just not fair for you. What the fuck are you doing over there?
I got something to say and I'm trying to be polite and let you
Go
speak.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
'Cause
We
that was my
know
point.
who Jill Stein and the Green Party is. See, I need some of that. That's my problem. That'll calm me down. We know who Jill Stein and the Green Party is, but we got a shit ton of people that only know who Bernie Sanders is and the key players because they just got into politics this fucking year. It is extremely ignorant and dangerous to think that there's any fucking shot. I mean, you're fucking dude. That's a pipe dream. It's a major pipe dream. It's not going to happen. So, like I said, burning the fucking house down because you don't want to feel dirty is selfish, dangerous, and like a Trump supporter. And at the end of the day, I don't think I have any more points to make right at this second after this one, so you can take the mic. But at the end of the day, if Trump wins by a small margin because you fucking Bernie or bust Jill Stein, Gary Johnson motherfuckers voted for somebody other than her, I hope when World War III is right around the fucking corner, gays are losing their marriage rights, we're losing abortion rights, healthcare is now privatized and shooting through the fucking roof, and every country in this fucking world is looking at us like it's fucking open season on the United States and our democracy. I hope it brings you all fucking comfort to say, well, at least we got to tell the DNC to fuck off.
Yeah,
That's
because
my
you know
overall
what?
point.
Let me tell you what. If we were to lose in this to President Trump, right? I guarantee you that the movement that would come out of that would be much stronger than just the Bernie people. It would be look, it took Bush. It took 6 years of Bush for the Occupy Wall Street people
Which
to
did
come.
nothing.
What do you
Brought
mean
some
it did
things to-
nothing?
It brought some shit to light, but overall,
That's a lot of the whole Bernie wave.
yeah, it
is
took
people
a
that-
strong leader. The problem with the 98% is they did not have good leadership, and Bernie Sanders brought those
Well,
people
they
back
didn't
out
have
and
any.
gave them that.
They didn't. It wasn't. I mean, that's what it was. It's 98%, right? So you can't have
You
any leadership.
can't
But Bernie
guarantee
appealed to those
this.
same people.
You can't guarantee that that's going to be the case. So you can't say, well, fuck it, let Trump get in there, because then this revolution will really fucking happen. No.
You're okay. So let's think about if your goal, and obviously this is long-term thinking, not short-term thinking, right? But if your goal was to create something much like Bernie Sanders, right? But even some of Bernie Sanders' war policies or policies towards Israel are still a little bit to the right of an ideal candidate for me,
Bernie?
right? But yeah,
Bernie wants to start treating Palestine like human beings. That is not. There's nothing right, according to right wing, about that.
oh no, I guess I agree with that, but it's still all the money that it's still. I think the country as a whole is. I guess I wouldn't condone giving Israel as much money as we do to basically lock
Well,
up.
neither did Obama. I mean, they wanted more money, and Obama told them to go fuck themselves, which is great.
Yeah,
What's
but
your point?
I mean,
Where are you going with this? I'm lost.
now you lost me.
I was following you. You were driving the car. What the fuck you mean?
Oh, okay. So, if that's the goal, right, to get a more progressive candidate in 4 years, we've already discussed this last week. If Hillary wins, she's going to be the candidate for 8 years. So, what do you think this movement is going to do for 8 years?
Well, that's up to the movement. So here's what you're doing that I'm not doing. I am not predicting what the masses are going to do, because a year ago I wouldn't have predicted that the masses would be stupid enough to put Trump where he's at. So I'm not going to predict what the masses are going to do if Trump gets elected. I will predict that this country will go downhill fucking quickly. That's what I'm willing to put money on, and I think you should agree with that. But
How much smarter is George W. Bush than Donald Trump?
now you're supporting Donald Trump.
I'm
Are
asking,
you seriously trying to tell me that a former, as corrupt and slimy and fucking dirty as she is, are you trying to tell me a former first lady, senator, and secretary of state is not more knowledgeable than Donald Trump? And you're going to compare
That's not-
Donald Trump
no,
to the
no, no,
son
no,
of
no.
a president?
No, that's not what I said at all. No, you mistook where I was going with
Okay,
that.
what I miss?
I'm just asking.
What?
I'm just asking. Is on an intellectual level, where do you rank the two?
Of who?
Donald Trump and George W. Bush.
I'd rather have George W. Bush. It's the devil that we know. And I would take everything that George Bush put us through, including everything that we're still fucking dealing with, all over again, if it meant that we did not have Donald Trump. I think you Bernie people are trying to rationalize shit in your head, and you're trying to justify that Donald Trump is, or that Hillary Clinton is just as bad of a person as Donald Trump is. The problem with that is when I look on Facebook and I see all these Bernie supporters that I've met over the last fucking year, and they're blaming Hillary Clinton for Benghazi. That is emotional, because we all know that's bullshit.
I agree. I obviously I've never brought up Benghazi.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm talking all of these Bernie supporters that are consistently posting how dirty Hillary Clinton is. And I agree. I get it. But Benghazi, $9 million or $7 million in taxpayer money, 9 fucking hearings, all orchestrated by the fucking right. That is emotion. That is not logic, and it is not logical. You cannot tell me there's no emotion involved in this, because also when we argued this last week, one of your points was, have you forgotten what Bill and Hillary and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the DNC said about us as Bernie supporters? You said, have you forgot? That is emotion response right there.
No, it's logic to think. Okay, look, this is where you say it's emotion, and this is where I separate and say it's logical, right? Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden Hillary Clinton wants what, 125,000. If you make 125,000 or less, college is free. Mm-hmm. Now she wants all these different things. What was she just saying about the people? You have to understand, it's not just emotional. The way that these people are willing, to say these things and make you feel stupid for believing one thing, and then now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden, that's the right thing to do.
The emotional side, the emotional part of that are really two things. One, that you are building up Trump to put him and Hillary on an even playing field. And the second part of that is, instead of looking at Bernie Sanders accomplishing what he did and what you and I helped him do, How many arguments have you and I gotten into with other people, and how many people have we brought over to the Bernie side, and how much money did we donate to him? We helped. We did that. And instead of looking at what Hillary's doing with the DNC new stance on the death penalty, what she's doing with college and the other progressive and promoting now a $15 minimum wage, Bernie Sanders he fucking yanked the DNC to the left. And instead of saying, well, we know Hillary didn't really agree with it, but she's going to do it because she wants votes. And she's going to continue fucking doing it because she's going to want re-election. So we're going to get what we fucking want. We're going to get that. But at the end of the day, to try to tell me that she is crazier and more dangerous than Donald Trump is emotional.
I never once said that, but all I'm saying, I'm just trying to say where are we at with the Donald here, right? What's the worst case scenario? And I given you the Supreme Court and all that good stuff. Calm down.
What's the worst? Is the Supreme Court not worth it enough? We can sit here and talk. We can sit here and make World War III predictions. We can sit here and talk about the next country he's going to fuck up.
That's the same, right? I mean, Henry Kissinger's, Hillary Clinton's freaking
but Hillary
idol.
Clinton, at least at a press conference, can hold her tongue. Not really during a debate, but at least at a press conference, she can maintain cool, calm, and collected. We've watched her lie. Donald Trump will get in front and say the leader of China can go fuck his mother, and that's going to be a problem.
I don't know.
Who would you rather have in that office after what just happened this last week? These two black people in Minnesota and Louisiana dying, and then what happened in Dallas. Who'd you rather have in office?
There's nothing the president is going to do about that. That's why local politics and state politics are so important. And then going forward,
who would you rather have trying to ease the tensions of the nation? Would you rather have Hillary or Trump? And don't forget, with Trump likely comes Attorney General Chris Christie.
It doesn't. I mean, that's obviously a horrible thought, but nobody's gonna ease the nation.
Naked.
Jesus Christ!
I had to throw a joke in there somewhere. We got to keep the emotion of the show balanced out a bit.
And I got some happy tones in a couple. We'll end it on a happy note, but
we got 10 minutes. We ain't done yet. Let's. I don't want to argue about this every week, so. Let's really try to put this to rest. You are in no way going to convince me that voting for Trump isn't basically
voting for anybody but Hillary.
I'm sorry, voting for anybody but Hillary is a vote for Trump. It's just the way it is, and we need to be adults about it.
But that I mean,
it's
you
not
can
fair.
say that. You could say that's a threat, right?
It is. There is a gun to our heads. There is a gun to our heads. The figurative gun that everybody's talking about, you got to vote for Hillary because you don't want Trump, it's there. But instead of just saying, fuck it, pull the goddamn trigger, what the fuck? You wouldn't do that in any other situation. You wouldn't do that. It's emotional. This is completely, I'm going to fuck this country into the ground before I vote for Hillary Clinton, just so I can say I told the DNC to go fuck itself.
It's not just that.
Yes, it is. That's what Trump supporters do.
No, it's not
just
just
Trump.
It's not about the DNC, right?
It's about the whole establishment. They put her up before the first debate. They already plan on giving her that nomination.
So it's not just a message to them. It's a message to everybody. Like, and when you say only 3% or 5% of people have heard of Jill Stein, if she gets 20% of the vote in California, a lot more people are going to hear about her. That's for sure.
It's not gonna
and then
happen.
people are going to say, "Oh, there is an alternative."
She's not going to be president. It's not going to happen. You know that's wishful thinking.
I said 20% of the vote.
Still, you know it's not going to happen.
20%
You know that's not going to happen.
20%?
Alex, you and I gamble. We've been to Vegas together. You would not make that bet on your last dollar. And I don't think I don't think the country deserves that bet at all. It sucks. It's corrupt. It's slimy. It's fucking terrible. It is the definition of the lesser of two evils. No argument. I get it. But don't burn the fucking house down. That's the bottom line. And if you just admit to me that that's what you're doing, and you can tell me the satisfaction of sending the middle finger to the establishment is worth it to you to risk all this, then we have nothing to argue about. But you at least have to admit that you are being emotional and you are being guided by that. And that in any other situation, like we say to Christians, you wouldn't act this way.
No, that's not fair to compare the two. First off,
I'm not comparing you to a Christian. I'm comparing one of the arguments that we give to Christians.
Secondly, okay, I will concede that my argument is not entirely based on emotion, but there is definitely some emotional attachment. However, counter to that, Bernie himself has said, you know, if I was just, and this is why I told you, I'm not necessarily Bernie or bust, because Bernie himself has said he would vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump, right? So that's out there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we'll see what happens as time goes. And that's why, I mean, hopefully this isn't the main point every week, but, you know, as time goes,
we'll discuss it, but we won't have to argue it every week.
Yes. Right. But it should get more interesting. Or stop, right? But
yeah.
So he's already said, and if people would just blindly support anything Bernie says, they would vote for Hillary.
Well, let's go. Final thought here, and then we'll let you go with your last story or wrap up. My final thought on this, I'm glad you brought that up, is we've hung on to Bernie's every word so far. We've listened to him, and like I said earlier, the 98% failed because it had no leadership. And it finally did once Bernie Sanders came out. And Sanders has said keeping Donald Trump out of that office is more important than getting him in there. And his number one goal is to keep Donald Trump out of that office. I think Bernie or busters and people that are Bernie supporters that are willing to vote for a candidate they know has no chance on winning is not only emotional, they're not listening to the true message of the candidate that they so believed in to begin with. And everything that he has done to pull the DNC to the left, with everything that we've already discussed, is riding on it. All of his work could easily be undone, and that's not worth it. That's my final thought.
To me, it just seems. I mean, in this time when we have this much information and this much potential, it just seems crazy to me that the choice that you're basically saying is you have to choose one or two. If you choose any other, it's outrageous, right? So
no, I'm saying you have to choose one. There is only one choice.
No, I know, but basically, if you choose anything else, it's for Trump, right? So it seems crazy to me that's where we've gotten is like there's no other alternative.
Agreed.
Now there's two parts on there. Number one, it's because the right has gotten so crazy and rabid that this is what they've created a Donald Trump in there, and the second part is, I mean, the Democrats have gone so far to the right as well that Hillary Clinton's the nominee, but I don't know. To be continued.
There's no, I mean, that's not what I have an argument about. The whole thing sucks, but just because it's, you know, as to slightly quote Neil deGrasse Tyson, our politics are under no obligation apparently to make sense to us. We don't have to like it. And I've said that from day fucking one when we still thought that Bernie Sanders could and more than likely would win, that it was going to be a Sanders v. Trump. I've said nobody said you had to fucking like it. Nobody said you had to enjoy it. Nobody said it was fucking fair. It's just the cards that were dealt.
Yeah, but that's what needs to change. And when you say, like, I'm just going to do it this one time, things are never going to change.
No, but we'll stop there. These people.
No.
But we have all these people, we have like 400 people running for office based off the Bernie Sanders rally, or based off Bernie Sanders running because they're inspired by him. We have a network now. Look at how many people have you met? You've been on the road way more than I have with this whole thing. How many people have you met?
I've met a lot of good people, but
they're all involved now. People that didn't care before, they're involved. It's
but
up to
the
them.
problem is the problem is I mean, let's be honest, how people are. You know, it's like freaking the movie Up. There's gonna be a squirrel coming, and
Squirrel.
Hillary Clinton's gonna be president, and these people are gonna go on with their lives and say, "Oh, that was nice. We really tried to change this country. Oh,
you're
didn't
right.
happen. We got screwed. We'll just keep voting for how we have been."
You're right.
It's
So the thought of if Donald Trump gets elected, then this revolution will really kick off is not really accurate. I don't think it's not a fair bet. But yeah, either way, it fucking sucks. This is not easy for me. Believe me, it's not easy. I don't like losing arguments. It's not what I do, and I have to argue intelligent people who are passionate and that they're not being logical. That's my stance.
So like I said, there's a little bit of emotion tied to it, but there's also logic in the mix. So it's complex, and
I have a feeling that we're still gonna have this argument, but we gotta move on.
yeah, I guess it's a quick story, but I don't know if you saw the long-awaited Noah's Ark open this week.
Yes, I did.
$100 million later.
Of taxpayer money, right?
I did. I think got 18 million in tax breaks.
Yeah, they're welcome.
Yeah. So now there's a replica, we'll say, of Noah's Ark that has dinosaurs in cages on the Ark.
Because dinosaurs were here 6,000 years ago.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, not to mention that Ark is not big enough to hold every species 2 by 2. Plus, Noah's like 12 kids or however many of them there were on there. It
Well,
doesn't work.
who knows how much space a 300-year-old man needs as well.
Well, probably a lot. He must have been yoked if he built that whole fucking Ark by himself. But yeah, there's your taxpayer dollars of Kentucky. Is that where that is?
Kentucky.
It is
Yes,
Kentucky.
sir.
Yeah. It just doesn't surprise me anymore. We need to fix our politics in this country, and then that will in turn fix our religion issues, I guess. But
Jill Stein, 2016. No, just
set
kidding.
us up to light a match 2016. Burn the fucking country down, because that's a better idea.
Okay.
Don't
Ron
poke-
Paul,
don't poke the
2016.
fucking
I'm
bear.
just
God
kidding.
damn it! What the fuck? What'd you say? Obama?
Ron Paul.
Oh, I thought you said Obama. And I saw a meme the other day that said, can we just not fucking vote this year and just give Obama a third term? The only problem is I don't think Obama can handle it, but god damn would I love that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Oh,
Some like loophole in the Constitution.
some fucking loophole, dude. Obama just
since-
stay there. I'm sorry. I know you're on your way out, but we just, man, please. I'd beg. Oh, it'd be great. Anyway, I don't know how much of our time we're over, but cool, man. I feel better now. I feel relieved. I've been waiting for this episode because the more I read Facebook, the more angry I fucking get. But anyway, yeah. We're back next week, right? And I think we're going to have Nick on. I think Atoms and Evolution will have another segment with one of those. I don't know what Nick has in store for us, but I'm sure we're going to learn something scientific. So that should be fun. But,
Yeah, looking forward to it.
yeah, me too. All right, man. We'll see everybody next time.